Welcome to the Explainer. You know we're going to take an entire course on starting a small business and boil it all down into one essential blueprint, all in the next 5 minutes. So let's just get right into it.
So you've got that dream, right? Being your own boss. It's a powerful idea, but how do you actually do it? How do you make it real? Well, it all starts with a roadmap. And that's exactly what we're going to walk through right now. The critical steps that turn that big ambition into a real, legitimate running business.
Okay, so our journey today has four main parts. First, we're going to go from that spark of an idea to a solid plan. Then we'll talk about getting funded and getting legal. After that, we'll cover how to run your business smart. And finally, the big one, how to find your customers.
All right, first up, from idea to plan. You see, every great business, it really begins with a blueprint. It's not just about what you sell, it's about the foundation you build everything on. Get this part right, and everything else gets a whole lot easier. So your first moves here follow a really critical sequence. You got to start with what's called a feasibility study, basically asking yourself, can this thing actually work? If the answer is yes, then you formalize your strategy and a business plan. And finally, you choose a legal structure. You see, following these steps in order, it makes sure you validate the idea before you pour a ton of money into it. Now, here's the key thing to get about a business plan. It is not just some to-do list for you. No way. You've got to think of it as a sales pitch. This is the document you're going to use to convince banks, to convince investors, that your vision, well, that it's worth their money. Okay, so with that killer plan in hand, you are ready for the next big step. To bring this thing to life, you're going to need two things: capital, that's the money, and legal standing. Let's break down exactly how you get them. When it comes to getting that money, look, every single option is a trade-off. It's a give and take. A bank loan? Sure, but they're going to demand collateral and you'll be paying interest. Venture capital? They might not ask for interest, but believe me, they're going to want a piece of your company. Equity. And yeah, you could use your own savings, which gives you total control, but it also puts all the risk, every single bit of it, squarely on your shoulders. You got to choose wisely here. All right, once you've actually got that funding secured, it is time to make this thing official. And listen, these next steps, they are not optional. We're talking about reserving your business name, getting the right permits, opening a dedicated business bank account, super important, and buying insurance. This is the stuff that makes you a legitimate, protected business. Okay, let's dive into the day-to-day. You're funded, you're legal, awesome. But now you actually have to run the business. And, smart operations, that's what separates the businesses that really thrive from the ones that just kind of survive. And this right here is a pretty stark warning. It's true. Even companies that have been around for years, they often fall into these common traps that just quietly drain their resources. But here's the good news. Just being aware of these mistakes is your absolute best defense against making them yourself. Okay, mistake number one, pricing too low. This is a classic. You look at a competitor and you just copy their price. But what if their pricing is totally wrong for their own business? See, the only way to guarantee you're making a profit is to know your own costs, inside and out. We're talking materials, labor, overhead, everything, before you set a single price. And then there's mistake number two, not getting paid fast enough. Oh man, this is a cash flow killer. You can literally be profitable on paper and still go out of business because you don't have actual money in the bank. The solution is simple, but it's so critical. Have a system. Bill your customers promptly and consistently. Remember, the work isn't really done until you're paid. And mistake number three, this is what I call the entrepreneur's curse, spreading yourself way too thin. You know what I'm talking about, trying to wear every single hat. You're the accountant, the lawyer, the operations manager. But waiting too long to get help in areas where you are not an expert, that can be a fatal mistake. You have to know when to delegate. Speaking of experts, on the finance side, you really need to know this distinction, cash versus accrual accounting. So cash accounting is simple. It tracks money only when it physically enters or leaves your bank account. But accrual accounting, well, it gives you a much truer picture of your financial health because it records income when you earn it, not just when you finally get paid. Now, you don't need to be the expert here, but you absolutely need to hire one to help you pick the right strategy for your business. All right, we're on to our final and, honestly, most exciting stage, building your growth engine. You've built the business, now you have to find the people who actually need it. And today, well, that all starts online. So what does this number mean for your business?
81%. That is a huge number. That's how many people start their search for a product or a service on a search engine like Google. And the takeaway is just, it's so simple. If you don't show up on Google, for all practical purposes, you are invisible.
And this is exactly why something called search engine optimization, or SEO, is so incredibly vital. It's basically the art and science of making sure you show up when someone searches for what you offer. What does that mean in practice? It means using the right keywords on your site, getting other reputable sites to link back to you, and, this is key, constantly tracking what's working and what's not. But look, SEO, as powerful as it is just one piece of the marketing puzzle. A truly winning strategy combines a bunch of different low-cost online methods. Things like super targeted ads, email newsletters, and social media. They all work together to reach your specific audience right where they're spending their time.
So, there you have it. We went from a simple idea to a rock-solid business plan to getting funded to operations and finally to finding your customers. We've literally covered the entire roadmap, the blueprint. It is now in your hands. So the only question left is, what are you going to build with it?